No One Knew the Burden, Part 26.
So last time we left off where Richard had recollected his memories for the last 5 years, and then Betcha had also enjoyed her wedding day. She had decided to block all the negative thoughts and concentrate on the moments of her wedding. However, she could not help recalling a part of the day when something strange happened. Her bridal party had left the church and were heading to the reception. At some point, her vehicle reached a bump and a certain vehicle was overtaking them. Suddenly, she heard a car hooting so loudly that she got concerned that an accident would occur. What she did not understand was why she thought the man who was overtaking her looked familiar.
Could it have been Richard who had saved her life a few years back? She wondered. For some reason, that thought crossed her mind so strongly. She felt a tear choke her throat, and when she cleared it, Nixon looked. Is there a problem, honey? Well, I just saw someone who reminded me of the man who had organized for my treatment in London. Silently, she thought, how I wish my father could have been at my wedding. She felt sad. She, however, concluded that they had left her father in Eldoret a long time ago. He must have retired and was living there by now. Nixon put his comforting arms around her. Their bridal party snaked its way to the reception, oblivious of the bride's feelings. That evening, Nixon told her, honey, all's well that ends well. She smiled back and knew he was right. The evening party was great. The bride had changed into a light purple evening wear that was eye-catching. The groom adorned a white and a maroon-colored tuxedo to match. The bride's eyes glittered every time she looked into her husband's face. Their friend Malimengi had arranged with the forest band to entertain the guests. So many kind words had been poured into the bride and the bridegroom's heart by the guests who had spoken. At around 8 in the night, a tall dark man in a black coat came and whispered something into Betcha's ears. She walked out hurriedly. Nixon tried to follow her, but she told him to wait. Taking a cue from her facial expression, he decided to wait. Everyone wondered what could be going on. An hour passed by and she had not come back. By now, the guests had started panicking. A commotion was heard outside the door and everyone turned to look. Betcha walked in with an expressionless face and took her seat. She's not fine. Can we go and find out what's going on? A guest was heard saying. Finally, Betcha stood up and the room fell into silence. Dear friend, there is nothing to worry about. I just needed to do some consultations. I'm thankful that you all came to my party. Please feel appreciated. With that, she broke into tears to everyone's shock. Nixon led his wife to a black Range Rover which was waiting to take them to their place of rest that evening. They went to Heaven Star, a 5-star hotel. What is going on, Betcha? Please tell me, did Nixon? Betcha walked to the patio outside their door, overlooking the well-lit swimming pool. Well, she started, hey, I thought I was going to find the answer. What answer? Read Nixon impatiently. A knock was heard on the front door, and Nixon went to find out who it was. Right in front of him was the man who had taken Betcha away from the party. Nixon stood up straight and was about to start a quarrel when Betcha touched his shoulders lightly and said, please, let me handle this. Handle what, honey? Who is this man? Why is he trailing us? Betcha told the man to come in, and telling Nixon to have a seat, she started the narration. What? That can't be true, exclaimed Nixon. also wondering what all this could mean. Betcha screamed, tears streaming down her eyes. "Let us go and find out. They are waiting in the lobby," the strange man said. Nixon took Betcha's shawl and led her to the lobby. They got involved in a long conversation. By the time Nixon checked his watch, it was 3 in the morning. "All right, Ma'am, we shall pursue this matter and give you our side of the story in about a week's time," Nixon concluded the discussion. Early the next day, the newlywed took their plane to Hawaii. Nixon had prepared a surprise honeymoon for his special bride, and he was determined that nothing was going to spoil it. After a few days, Betcha seemed to come back to her usual self. They took so many photos and videos that later in life, when their grandchildren wanted to write their biography, the materials for that part of their lives were readily available. "Honey, may I say something?" Nixon asked Betcha one evening. "Yes, darling, go ahead." "Now we have dated and are now married. Surely, even if we are not religious, don't you think it would be a good idea if we go to a church, at least to give thanks to God for keeping us safe?" "Yes, dear, we actually can. I saw a church at the junction right before you turn into the hotel route. In fact, that can also give me an opportunity to go and pray for that issue that is nagging my mind." The next day, Nixon and Betcha attended Mendes International Church. The pastor opened the book of John and started reading. "For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of God's one and only Son." When Nixon walked to her after the prayer, he made a confession. "Betcha, I feel like a newborn baby. I have been given a second chance in life." Excitedly, he gave his wife a hug as they walked out of the church compound. Betcha sensed that her life would never be the same again with this man beside her. Nixon did not realize he had got lost in his thoughts until Betcha told him to stand up. It was time for prayers. Startled, he stood up, bowed his head. Immediately after the service, Nixon rushed to talk to the pastor. After a few minutes, Betcha walked in shock as her beloved knelt at the altar. And that is when he came to talk to her, and she sensed that their life would never be the same again. Right at the gate, a black Mercedes-Benz was parked. Betcha felt her heart miss a beat. "Nixon, hurry up." And he wondered what had gone wrong. "He is here. Please lower your voice," she whispered. "Who are you talking about?" Nixon started to ask. Before he could complete the sentence, the man who had trailed them to their honeymoon party and to the hotel was standing right in front of them. For more, join me next time. Thank you.